Donald Trump is seeing firsthand the most important infrastructure to protecting paradise. And the president, along with U.S. Senators Marco Rubio and Rick Scott, Congressman Brian Mast, and Governor Ron DeSantis toured the Herbert Hoover Dike. Now, this is extremely important to protecting nearby communities and for keeping harmful algae blooms out of our waterways. Unfortunately, if that water level is too high, it puts pressure on the dike. And until repairs are done and the dike can handle a certain water level, the Army Corps of Engineers will release water from Lake Okeechobee into the St. Lucie River. The water then flows through the St. Lucie locks and into places like Palm City and Stewart. Well, the president says that he is committed to funding the repairs, a message he reiterated today. We have live team coverage tonight, which begins with WPTV News Channel 5 anchor Michael Williams live at Canal Point. Michael?
Hello, Ashley. It's an enormously delicate balancing act that you just so eloquently described about lake levels, pollution coming into the lake, water that has to be released, what it means to the coastal communities when that water's polluted and is feeding algal blooms. All of that part of the critical necessity to discuss the future of this lake. 40 miles from Mar-a-Lago, but a world away, Marine One deposited the president on the dike that I stand upon right now. His focus today on making sure that this dike, more than 80 years old, never springs a catastrophic leak. President Trump knows a good backdrop.
We're making it stronger than it would ever have been, and it's really in great shape.
With Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and an all-star congressional delegation in tow, President Trump focused on his fast-tracked timeline, now 2022 instead of 2025, to finish repairs on the 80-plus-year-old Herbert Hoover Dike that surrounds Lake O. It's a $1.6 billion job, and some of that repair work served as his backdrop today.
This project was dying until we got involved.
The health of the lake, farming towns here, the Everglades, and coastal communities beset by algal crises all go hand in hand. These Republican lawmakers recently criticized the president for axing Everglades restoration spending from $200 million to $63 million next year. But not a word about that before the cameras.
You have a chance, Mr. President, and your administration to go down in history as the Everglades president.
Others are not ready to put the president in the history books. They want follow-through from the White House and Congress on funding and a wider restoration focus. Former Pahokee Mayor J.P. Sasser.
Still, if you've noticed even today, nobody is talking about reducing the flow into the lake. And I think if you would add that into the mixture, we can get the job done.
So many things to add into the mixture. Water flowing into the lake from the north. The Kissimmee River Basin is crucial because of the nutrients and pollution it brings in, and the lake levels, again, if too high, mean the water has to flow east and west. Also, many people here say they've got to make sure they stay on top of funding for the approved reservoir south of Lake O, which will ease the need to send water east and west. But there's always been concerns about promises not followed up by money. It's something we'll be watching in the months and years to come. All of this so crucially important to our friends and neighbors about 40 miles to the east on the Treasure Coast.